This is the ARID-Dry Environmental Remediation HEPA filter trailer. This unit is capable of 18,000 CFM when all 4 supplies and all 4 return hoses are hooked up to it. The unit is encapsulated all on a 14-foot solid aluminum welded trailer, custom built for this application. The unit is equipped with back leveling jacks, and care should be taken to try and operate the unit in a relatively level environment. You can crank the level down to stabilize the trailer, so it'll also secure the trailer from movement. Additional blocking would always be recommended on the tires to prevent any movement from the trailer. The forward access door is located on the driver's side. Opening the door with the latch provides access to the pre-filter and HEPA filter section. The unit has 9 24 by 24 pre-filters, which are a washable MERV 13 filter, and they're followed by a box-style HEPA filter, which is 99.97% effective. This is the HEPA filter. The HEPA filter slides into the frame first. The HEPA filter slides into the frame first, and the rear seal seals against the back of the filter. The MERV 13 filter then operates as a pre-filter, and it slides in front. The filters are held in place by this bar and these tightening fittings. So now you can see the HEPA filters are all in place. They're actually being sucked into the frames by the negative air pressure of the blowers. The air is drawn through this chamber, filtered, and then delivered right back into the controlled area. Inside the side service door is a ground rod. This rod comes complete with a connecting wire. It's intended for this rod to be drilled into the ground and then connected to the trailer at the ground lug. The ground lug is located right behind the door and can simply be connected with a screwdriver. So now with the filters all in, we can close the door, seal this chamber with the cam lock handle. It can be locked to prevent access during operation. This is the blower side of the unit. The blowers are accessed by opening up the rear cam lock hatch. Door opens and you can see 2 blowers, and they're labeled blowers number 4 and number 1. These blowers are also mirror imaged by blowers 2 and 3, which are located further into the compartment. These blowers draw negative pressure on this chamber, which draws the air through the HEPA filters, and then we deliver the air out the connection tubes into the controlled area. In the blower compartment toward the rear of the unit, we've mounted the 4 variable frequency drives for the individual blowers to control the RPM and the amperage draw of the units on startup. These units are housed back here and would typically not require much service, if any, so they're provided in a ventilated cabinet in the clean airspace. So now, after we've done our preliminary visual inspection of this area, we can secure the back door, close this, cam lock it to seal it, lock it if required, and we're essentially ready to hook up the remainder of the ductwork if this is required. The ductwork is attached to the inlet cones by using our clamp mechanism, which clamps the steel collar of the ductwork tight to the side of the unit. This is a very quick and easy mechanism to tie 1, 2, 3, or 4 ducts to the controlled environment. The unit can be operated with 1, 2, 3, or 4 blowers as required. The duct caps or shipping caps should be removed, of course, to connect the ductwork. They're removed by loosening the 4 knobs and the brackets which hold the cover on. The cover should be placed in a safe place for future transport of the unit. The ductwork then fits very snugly over the duct collar. Typically the bottom slides on first, and then the top slides up and over the collar, and then becomes fastened with the 4 knobs again, holding the steel reinforcing ring inside the flexible ductwork. Inside the side service door is a place to store the caps. There's a bar, and the caps simply are placed behind the bar and they're held in place. On the side of the unit are 4 taps to measure filter pressure drop to verify the pressure gauge on the front of the unit. These taps can be accessed by simply removing the red protective cover, and then a probe can be inserted in the opening to test for particulate or for pressure drop or flow. The unit is powered by 2 30-amp line cords. They are connected by twist lock fittings to the exterior mounted disconnect switches. The disconnect switches are mounted on the control panel for the system, which houses the individual motor starters and operational switches. For our example here, we've attached 1 return duct and 1 supply duct to the system. This will allow for approximately 4,000 to 5,000 CFM through the filtration system. When the front control panel is open, you can see the 4 motor starters that control motors on blowers 1, 2, 3, and 4. These motor starters are connected to a variable frequency inverter, which allows for a slow start, low amp draw start. Once the starters are engaged, the individual blowers are energized by these on-off switches for the individual blowers. We'll go ahead and push the start contact for blower number 2. This will also energize a light on the side of the panel to indicate power on to that circuit. This light indicates power on to blower number 2. So now with our 30-amp circuit power connected to blower circuit 1 and 2, we can go ahead and energize the blower systems by first pressing the green start button to allow power to the circuit, then turning the on-off switch to on. That will start the blower system circulating. Then we can go ahead and start blower system number 2. After a suitable time delay, go ahead and turn the switch to on. This will start both blower systems, so now we're circulating approximately 8,000 to 10,000 CFM through the HEPA filter banks. We can see the filter loading as it works over time by monitoring the pressure gauge that's located in the front of the system right next to the control panel. With the 2 blowers operating, we're indicating about a 1-inch pressure drop with clean filters. As we load the system more, this pressure drop of course will increase depending on the volume going through the system and the filter condition. Now we have all 4 blowers running. Everything's been stabilized. We're actually moving about 30,000 CFM of air because the ductwork is not hooked up and the blowers are certainly running at their maximum effort. This will actually provide more of a pressure drop across the filters than normally designed. We'd expect about 1¼ inches at full 18,000 CFM or so flow. With the blower now up to speed, we're actually circulating air through the HEPA filter section. When you shut the unit down or you want to idle the system for filter changes or filter maintenance, you should always shut the switch off first and allow the motor to spool down. The variable frequency drive does have a circuit in it to actually slow down the blower at a controlled rate so the variable frequency drive system does not have a voltage overload. So when we turn the fan off, we turn it to off in this location and allow the fan to slow down and eventually stop, which should take about 32 to 35 seconds. When that's completed, then we can go ahead and disconnect power to the starter by hitting the stop button, and then of course throwing the main disconnect to disconnect power to the entire unit.